representing, possibly representing SDP in the different constituencies are in this picture. So can we say that we have a clue that what was in the picture?
Well, as we've said many times before, we have a field of a slate of candidates, and that will be announced at the appropriate time. That those in the picture there may or may not end up as candidates for the general elections.
Just a follow-up question on the GRCs and SMCs. What are your comments on the three-cornered fights that the opposition parties seem to be tangled in?
We're not interested in that.
Yeah. So, I mean, UFA is an example, and I think SDP has expressed interest there, and we may be seeing 3-4 cornered fights. Will you still go in? What's your message to the other parties as well?
Well, we will continue to work with all opposition parties to make sure that three-cornered fight doesn't materialize. We do not want to do megaphone negotiations. We will contact them directly. When we do, and the results come about, we will let the media know. What we don't like to do is to do the negotiations through the media. Doesn't work.
So you're saying that SDP will work on these promises within the next term of the parliament. But even if SDP gets all of its candidates elected, so that would be 4 + 2, 6 people, there's still a minority voice in the government, and some of these pledges are fundamental changes to what Singapore has now. For example, the minimum wage is very different from what we had before. So, how can you hope to achieve all this within one term?
If and when the SDP candidates are elected, the PAP will get a very, very clear message that these policies are the policies that the people want to change. If they are going to continue to be so mule-headed in maintaining and talking at the people, in maintaining policies that are obviously to the disadvantage, adverse to the people, then they will have to face the people again in the elections in 2016 or 2017. That's how parliamentary elections work, democratic parliamentary elections work, and that's the message that I think voters are going to have to be very clear about when they get to the polls, when they get to the ballot box, whenever it is called.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I have this question. Okay, are you trying to say then that if you are elected into parliament, you are going to let the parliament see this set of promises that you, SDP, has made and leave it to them to enact the changes?
No. I think the way that it works is that our MPs will go in there, make the case,
Okay.
not just criticize these policies, but what we'll do is to ensure that we develop a coherent, alternative, very workable set of detailed program that we can present in Parliament. And we are going to tell this government, here it is. Do it. Because that's what the people want. That's what you have been elected to do, to serve the people. All right? And that is the role of the opposition, to ensure that whatever we present, it is a studied policy. It is one that the people want, something that is workable, something that's level-headed. And that is exactly what the RMPs will do when they get into Parliament.
I have one more question, sorry.
Sure.
Assuming that SDP MPs get into the Parliament, I'm just wondering, would SDP be taking confrontation policy on all issues, or SDP be ready to work with PAP? I mean, go across the aisle and work on those policies at least which you think will make sense.
Well, I don't know what you mean when you say confrontational.
No, what I mean to say is that would SDP be criticizing government on all policies, or would SDP be prepared to walk across the aisle and work with the government?
Where we can, we will make sure that we work with the government to ensure that policies benefit the people. That's the first and foremost approach that principle that we're going to adopt in Parliament. Over and above that, these policies are what we're going to be fighting for. When we put it up before the elections, and if the electorate casts their vote for the SDP, when we get into Parliament, we would not be fulfilling our promise. In fact, we would be breaking our promise to them if we didn't stick to our promises and fought for them. On these issues, we will not compromise. We will continue to lay out alternative pathways for the government to take, and we will continue to speak up, and we will continue to be constructive to make sure that they yield to the people.
Just now when previous question you mentioned that you will have detailed set of plans if your MPs are elected into Parliament. Just like to clarify, currently you already have a set of plans, new plans to actually implement all these, and you're going to talk about that during rallies, or are you guys just going to have a set of plans after you have the election?
You know that we already have a detailed set of plans, right? In both It's About You and in our shadow budget. When we get into Parliament, our MPs will be going into greater research in terms of these specific issues. All right, we will come up with working papers. We will be pushing for bills, writing up bills, introducing motions, focusing on these points specifically. All right, that's what we mean by when we get into more detailed plans. We will be consulting with analysts, with researchers, with our constituents. We will be making sure that we take into best practices what's happening in other countries. We will be asking for policies from other jurisdictions where we will study them. If need be, we will visit these jurisdictions, learn firsthand what works, what doesn't, and we will take back with them, and then we will present it in Parliament.